Our next movie review of the day and our final movie review of the day is going to be for the film American Fiction. So American Fiction, heard a lot about this movie, came out last year in December. It's having now more of a wide release at the beginning of January 12th. So more people probably can see this movie now than they did previously this year. But I heard a lot of really great things about it. Dusk had already seen it already.
Mm.
It was on his best of list.
You son of a bitch. I mean, yeah, continue.
Yeah, and I almost died seeing this movie. There was a winter storm going on in Texas, and well, not really a storm, but just a winter freeze going on.
Oh, yeah, actually, same up here in Jacksonville. It was like, wow, so this is what winter is.
You know, and Texans don't know how to handle no fucking cold weather. They don't salt the roads properly. So I'm driving on the highway on the bridge. My car just spins around, slides everywhere. I'm like, holy shit. So I was like, this movie better be fucking good if I almost died to see this goddamn movie. And that's what they can put that on the trailers. Like, critic almost dies, go and see American Fiction, you know, and is it worth dying for? Well, yeah, I think it is kind of worth dying for. It's pretty good. You know, this is pretty damn good. So what's going on here in American Fiction? So this is directed by Cord Jefferson. Cord Jefferson, I think
it's his feature film debut, but he's been a writer forever. He's worked on stuff like The Good Place, like Master of None. He wrote 10 episodes of Succession, and he was the writer and story editor on Watchmen.
Yeah, you can feel a lot of the latter and some of the recent former in this, but a lot of it comes down to personal experience. Definitely innate. I just want to tell good stories. No, but can you tell a very specific kind of story? Like, no, too bad.
So you have Cord Jefferson, who's the director, writer of this movie. And it stars Jeffrey Wright amongst a really great stellar cast as well. We're going to get into a little bit, but Jeffrey Wright. So he plays a writer, and he's a good writer. Just not a very successful or popular writer. You know, he writes a lot of very, you know, heady kind of novels that don't really gain much traction. But he sees all the success of other writers kind of happening, people that he thinks kind of write schlock. One of them being Issa Rae's character here. And he goes like, you know, why is this getting all this attention? Why is this getting so popular? Like, this is, you know, it appeals to the lowest base of people.
Yeah. Guess who he's making fun of?
You know, it appeals to the very, very lowest base of people. It's like, you know, you see this stuff, it's like, and then, you know, he's getting kind of pushback from his publisher of like, hey, we want a black, you know, novel here. And he's like, well, I'm black and I wrote a novel. So there you go. I mean, isn't that what it is? But, you know, they want something a little bit more, they think, of what the authentic black experience is. On top of that, you know, he's dealing with a lot of life struggles as well, on top of work struggles. You know, he has his sister, Tracee Ellis Ross. He also has his brother, Sterling K. Brown, who Sterling K. Brown, by the way, really great in this movie. I don't know why he hasn't been talked about more for like best supporting actor. I think he's fabulous in this movie. What's going on with Sterling K. Brown? He's a plastic surgeon. He's going through a gay midlife crisis. You know, he repressed it for so long and came out in his marriage.
Yeah, he's making up for lost time.
And yeah, he's making all that for all that lost gay time. And, you know, he's having threesomes. He's got, you know, boy toys over in their 20s. He's doing coke, you know, off a glass here. Like he's Sharon Stone and oh no, that wasn't Sharon Stone, but the character. But in Goodfellas there in Casino, it's like he's doing cocaine everywhere. It's just like crazy. But yeah, it's Brady from Detroit says he's making up for lost dick. He said, I mean, basically, yeah, that's what he's doing.
Yeah, and while the movie does make a lot of is very satirical in how the entertainment industry as a whole kind of puts a lot of black and people of color creators into just your one specific box. The movie is some of the funniest lines I've heard in the last couple of years, and most of them are from Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah, he's really great in this. So that's his brother and sister in this. A tragedy recently happened in the family. His father commits suicide there. And that kind of was another thing that kind of brings them all together, and they have to deal with their mother who's struggling with dementia there and decide what to do with her. And a lot of those decisions kind of lead to him, you know, kind of selling out in some aspects of going like, okay, if they want a black book, this kind of full of stereotypes.
He's like sitting at his laptop one night. He's having a couple drinks, and almost on a whim or as a joke, he just types up this manuscript, and it's called a My Pathology, misspelled, which is just full of all of these expectations that black writers are burdened with. So it's like, melodrama, deadbeat dads, gang violence, police shootings.
Yeah. And you see, he kind of just writes this, and you see where that kind of goes in the movie, and all of a sudden it becomes a huge success. He gets trapped by it. And you see kind of all that. And with this movie, what's great about it is it is very much a good critique on, that type of situation of being, black and this type of predominantly, white industry there, of seeing, trying to be successful, trying to do your own thing, trying to, also have the black identity there. And I think it does a great job at kind of expressing that and voicing that without become, preachy at all, because it is so well written and so well directed. I'm going to pass it along to you guys. And Nick, what are your thoughts on American Fiction here?
So a lot of conversations I've had with my friends of color, they despise creators like Tyler Perry, who very much indulge in a lot of the stereotypes that this movie is very much lambasting.
And that was a Tyler Perry joke in the trailer right there. This is
yes, it was.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can play it a little bit here. Let me see. Let me go.
Tucson. There's one gay bar and it's full of college kids. One of them asked me if I was Tyler Perry.
I mean, Tyler Perry was in Atlanta, right?
Fuck you.
Yeah, and not just for, I think, how well written the satirical element of this is, just how very grounded and very human all of the interaction that that Jeffrey Wright has with everybody. I think we kind of write off Jeffrey Wright as just being a very strong character actor. He's been in a ton of stuff like Casino Royale, the James Bond movies. He's probably my favorite take on Commissioner Gordon in the Batman. He's been in video games in The Last of Us Part 2. He's the voice of the Watcher. And this is probably the first time in a very long time where I've seen him get to be a lead actor in a film, and he absolutely steps up to that added pressure.
Dusk, what are some of your thoughts on American Fiction?
I mean, this was on my best of for a reason. I was fortunate enough to see it before the year ended, and I was glad to have it so it could fit on that list. I think what I really liked about this movie was how well written it was, and how, while there is some subtlety here and there, subtleties and maybe kind of pushing out, it's really just a better story on just don't put people in a box. Just let them tell stories. Most importantly, it's a Black history isn't just stuck in one aspect of life. People come from all walks of life. They have different experiences, and those are stories worth telling.
Yeah,
those are what's interesting.
Yeah, those
someone
are...
who lives a Black person can live. Several Black people can live in the same area and have completely different lives depending on their families, what happened, and those are worth telling. Just like white families, Asian families, Hispanic families, they all have different walks of life, different experiences, and we shouldn't just pigeonhole one race or one people or one culture, and that's the only stories we want to tell.
Yeah, it's a huge reason why the last couple of years some of my favorite movies have been stuff like the original Black Panther, like Shang-Chi, like The Farewell, like Past Lives that came out last year. And this movie, it's very much it's an advocate for not just forcing artists and creators of color into their box that a lot of the, let's be honest, mostly white dominated entertainment industry wants us to do. And very much because there's a joke in here where I almost don't want to give it away because it's kind of a spoiler, where Wright is kind of pitching like different endings for this book. And one of them is like way more grounded and probably closer to reality. And it's like, that's not realistic. And it's a white dude that's saying it.
I think that's like the only thing I didn't quite like about it. Some of those aspects in it felt a little cheaper than others.
It felt cartoonish. Yeah. However, look at like a lot of films that came out in the last couple of years, and a lot of the decisions and a lot of the things that you hear in the news about how studio executives have handled situations like this.
Oh yeah.
Is it any less realistic than that?
Yeah. In some ways, no. I see your point, but I felt like for a movie that did have such great writing, those were like that's my only really nitpicks on the whole movie as a whole. Like moments for that, I'm like, you have a great message, keep going. Don't get stuck in that kind of that part of it. But luckily those are just moments in the movie. Otherwise, I think all the performances are just fantastic.
Yeah. And you did have an interview with the actors. They came out and they, talked about their experience, going through casting and everything and what that was like. And, have you ever been told, you just didn't fit the role, and, Sterling K. Brown talks about like, yeah, I mean, I've been told that I was too intelligent to play, this certain black guy or something in some show or movie. And it's, you hear about those experiences like Zoe Kravitz, she came out and talked about when she first auditioned to be in The Dark Knight Rises and, that experience. And
it was like she was like too urban for Catwoman.
Yeah. Even though her dad owns an island, but okay. Yeah. So, you do have those different experiences that, there that you kind of see with, different black creatives and artists. And then also there's a good conversation, that I think is in the movie that Jeffrey Wright has with Issa Rae, who is the writer of the book that he kind of, thinks so lowly of. And there's also
my favorite line in the movie, it's something that's very small and it kind of adds shades more to Jeffrey Wright's character. Is like, did you even read the book? It's like, no.
That happens more often than you think.
Yeah. And there's a lot of good comedy bits here too, with like a writers group that they're in. It's like they're like a board and they're have to review all these books, to say what the best books of the year are and then award it at this kind of award show there. So and I think that makes also for some really good comedy bits there when they're in that like board member group there. Rounding out, so you mentioned Tracy Ellis Ross, you mentioned Sterling K. Brown, also his manager here. You have John Ortiz there, plays Arthur, who's his manager. A lot of great stuff too between the back and forth between them, of them trying to pitch the book and sell it. That adds for a lot of really great comedy there. You also have Leslie Uggams there, who plays the mother. She does a very good job there in her scenes that she's there. You also have Erica Alexandra. People might remember she was Maxine on 11 Single there. She was also in she was there. She was also in Get Out there as well as a detective in that. So she pops up every now and then, and she plays a girlfriend of Jeffrey Wright's character, and she also does. They have a lot of great stuff here. I mean, how much of kind of an asshole he is there in some aspects. I mean, it's the writers, I guess, trash. Like a writer has to be some drunk asshole there sometimes. His interactions with people are not the best. And it's always, again, Sterling K. Brown always comes in with great lines of going like, I don't know what you see in them, but I guess, hey, I mean, yeah, you love them, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I think this is, really, really great movie here, with such great writing and such a great cast, touching on, a lot of really great issues there going on, with black people, in the entertainment industry there. And great final shot of this movie too, that you see there of you seeing, and you'll know the shot I'm talking about here towards the end of the movie, when they do that kind of final shot. I thought was really nice. Yeah, I mean, and I know there was this tweet that came out recently. A lot of people, and probably it's bait. I mean, a lot of stuff on Twitter is bait anyway. But there was this tweet about, that's like, white people have shows like Succession and The Bear and all that other stuff. What do black people have? And you don't go see fucking shit like this. You don't go see a picture. You don't go see, Moonlight because you care about it.
It's too gay for you. You don't watch stuff like Watchmen or
there was Atlanta that came out. There was Swarm. There was I Am a Virgo. There's Sorry to Bother You. All those things, that people make. But it's tough because, it's like, you think that you have the big creatives going like, nobody wants to see that, shit. You got to just stick with the regular stuff here. But, if you want to see some great, black entertainment here with, really thought-provoking ideas, great cast, great writing here, great direction. I think this is the movie for you. And yeah, it's really funny too. I mean, it's also really, really funny, and you can really get into it. Dusk, you got any final thoughts?
No. Again, I think despite some things I may not like in this movie.
Mhm.
I think it just stands so strong. Just character acting, great set pieces, really funny movie, and just I just like seeing this kind of like pushback when it comes to writing, and especially when it talks about like writing in film, because that's always something I'm kind of passionate about. And to see people kind of go, yeah, it is tough to get original ideas. And I think the ultimate theme of just let stories be naturally told by the storytellers. Don't try to pigeonhole them into, and I think that's a theme that everybody can get behind. And if you want great entertainment, go after the great entertainment. Please do so, and more will come.
Yeah, and this was like this line had me lying the delivery.
I gotta get home.
It's 8 in the morning.
I'm not flying the fucking plane, Mom.
Again,
hey, the airport is the only acceptable place in society that we have agreed upon. It's okay to have shots at like 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
You're not flying the plane. It's totally fine. As long as you have like a baggie full of the little bottles, no one cares. Not even TSA.
So what would be your rating?
Don't you dare keep a water bottle on there.
You know what? I guess because again, it's on my best of. So this was definitely I really enjoyed it. Whatever small problems I had with it, it's still pretty solid peak. It was just so funny. It was so funny and so well written. I love the performances. Whatever small conniptions I had with certain elements of it are like, you're losing a little bit of what the themes you're kind of going for. You're digging a little too in areas I don't think is necessary. It was just just nice, and I really appreciated it. It was a genuine surprise just before the end of the movie, and that's why I didn't quite go all the way on my best of and reach just below my top 5. But if I recall, something like number 6 and 7, and I was happy to have it. I was happy to have American Fiction on there, and I would recommend it. Definitely check it out if you can.
Nice. Nick, final thoughts, rating.
All right, especially the last couple of years, I feel like a movie like this is very important in the fact that we are having more of a conversation about in the inclusion of Black writers and Black artists of color, and artists of color in general. And I feel like this movie is absolutely necessary because while artists like Jeffrey Wright's character in this is, very talented, clearly, because he isn't sticking to what the industry wants him to be, he lashes out with this novel. And I feel like it's important that, we don't put artists in boxes. Let people tell the stories that they want to tell. And this movie is probably one of the funniest movies last year. I got a lot of the hardest laughs I remember from a comedy that I've seen in a very long time. Sterling K. Brown, he absolutely eats every single scene he's in. I loved Jeffrey Wright's performance and how very subtle he was in getting to, read more and more into his performance, even down to like his physicality and his role. You also have fantastic supporting performances from a lot of the white supporting characters in this, like Adam Brody. He plays like this almost parody of Peter Farrelly,
very much
who made a Green Book, and he is hilarious in every scene he's in. This movie's satire, I thought, is absolutely biting. It's intelligent. It's very funny. When I first saw the movie, I wasn't crazy about how they included the family drama in it, but the more I've thought about the film, the more I realize how vital it is to establishing Monk's mental state in the thought process of writing this and going along with this whole charade that he goes on throughout the movie. And I can't give this anything but peak. I laughed so much through this movie. It made me think more about the state of the entertainment industry than a lot of films in the last couple of years.
If I had to redo my list, I would definitely add American Fiction on my best of list. I think it's that good. Very much came highly recommended, and I agree. It lives up to the hype. I think it is very funny, it is very sharp. Like I said, can't say enough great things about this movie. It is just that good. Like I said, I almost died to see this movie. So if it wasn't that good, That had been a problem. So yeah,
I know. I had to wear 2 jackets in order to go to the theater to see this.
Yeah.
I nearly died.
The afternoon tune says, "Worth dying over."
So yeah, I mean,
it's worth risking death over. I wouldn't say it's worth dying over.
So I would give it. This is cinema. That's what I would give it there. I think that.
I just love the line that he has in this clip you're showing. It's like the stupider I act, the richer I get.
Which one is?
It's like while he's at the urinal. There it is.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
Pretty much, and then to me, that's what made this movie work.
$4 million for movie rights.
Yes. The dumber I behave, the richer I get.
See, he used a bigger word. He used behave. He used more letters there. That's why he's the writer.
See, that's why he's the writer, and I'm just the dumb half white guy.
Yeah. See, there you go.
Ready to offer him millions of dollars to make a movie for me.
Yeah.
That I don't have.
So yeah, that was our thoughts on American Fiction. 2, This Is Peaks High, and then 1, This Is Cinema. Very, very good. People check it out. Yeah. If you can't see it in theaters, I hope you do see it in theaters if you do get a chance, if it is available there. But see it on streaming if you can. I don't know where it's gonna probably drop on streaming.
Yeah,
but
support it on streaming. See it in 4K. Get out to the theater. Use like a AMC Stubs A-list member, Cinemark credit, whatever you got to do. Check this movie out.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, that was our thoughts on.
If you're gonna stay somewhere to be warm, you might as well watch the movie. Might as well watch this.
Yeah. Yeah.